And a very warm welcome one and all, and welcome to the second day of our Singapore Open 3 held here at the Asian Game Festival at Suntec City Convention Centre. My name is Matthew Hui.
And I am Justin, and we'll be bringing you the top 8 rounds all the way to the finals for the conclusion of yesterday's Singapore Open.
Yep, so the players here have placed after 6 rounds of Swiss yesterday, and one of them is the top seed who went undefeated through all 6 rounds of Swiss from Malaysia, JS Dale.
Yep.
And held up against an opponent who just about squeezed in at 4-2 thanks to resistance at 8th position, Edison Tam.
So we've actually featured both players on stream yesterday. JS, I believe, in the first round where he fought Ryan Lowe, and Edison in the very last Swiss round. I can't remember who he fought though.
Yeah, Edison falling in the last stream Swiss round against Wilson Fung, who also qualified for top cut.
Okay.
But Edison still made it in, so congrats to him, who will be playing for his life in this tournament against JSDO, who has yet to suffer a defeat in terms of a round loss here at the Singapore Open.
Yeah, I mean, going undefeated is not an easy feat, and I think it has to be said that he's definitely a very good player to be able to make it this far.
I mean, it should be noted that for those who did watch our stream yesterday, JS came within a whisker of actually dropping his very first round on stream, but our good friend Ryan Lowe decided to use Fake Out while his opponent had Psychic Terrain up. So JS escaped from that and then went on from strength to strength towards the rest of the tournament.
Undefeated, yeah. So, and arguably his matchup against Ryan Lowe was not that good. So I mean, as you put it, that was the only strong possibility. That was the only match where the strong possibility of him losing was apparent.
Yep. So and here he is at 6-0, continuing his recent streak ever since he actually stepped into the video game championship scene here in Malaysia and Singapore. He's a relatively new player, only entered the competitive scene this year, and has just exploded onto the scene. Yeah,
more recently he also did pretty well in the Malaysia regionals. He is running the same team from there. I think in the interview I did with him, he said that you know, if it works, then I'll just bring it here and give it a try as well.
Yep. So winning his very first tournament in the mid-season showdown, cutting the Malaysian Open, cutting the Malaysian regionals, and here he is cutting the Singapore Open.
At the very least, well, it'll be interesting to see if he manages to go all the way to the finals. There are some very strong top contenders in the top 8 today.
Yeah, well, no Wei Wen. What happened to Wei Wen? Wei Wen, where are you? Oh well, some things happen, I guess.
As Martin would put it, press F to pay respects. But yes, we'll be should be moving the match shortly. A bit about Edison though. He's not really a very prominent player.
He flits in and out of our scene. He appears for the occasional tournament. The last time we actually saw him at a live tournament here in Singapore was a mid-season showdown in the 2017 format, which he did top cut and went all the way to the final. Unfortunately, he didn't win that, but he's looking to make a run here today again. So a strong contender in his own right. Not as well known. Honestly, these players are relatively new. So moving on to team preview though, with both players here. JSDO, the top seed is 6-0, running the team of Metagross, Landorus, Gastrodon, Among Us, Rotom Heat, and the Tapu Lele.
And on Edison's team, we have the Tyranitar, Zapdos, Metagross as well, followed by the Landorus, Tapu Lele, and Among Us.
So, of all the things to see today, we actually see a Metagross mirror. Unusual at this current state of the metagame, especially given the Edison's particular team build, the Tyranitar Metagross Duo Mega paired with Among Us, Lele, Landorus, and Zapdos, actually came into prominence all the way back in the Oceania Internationals last year, or at the start of this year, but has since faded away as the metagame shifted more towards Charizard. But here we are with both players actually piloting the Metagross teams all the way to the top cut, and will be facing each other off. So unfortunately, one Metagross team will fall. Rare enough as they are, another one is about to fall in this particular matchup.
Yeah, the only differences between these two teams is obviously the Gastrodon and the Rotom Heat against the Tyranitar and the Zapdos.
Yeah, both players spotting the same Tapu in the Tapu Lele.
Actually, if you think about it, then both of them actually do have an electric type to try to cover the weakness of the Charizard Y.
That will be interesting to see which of the Metagross on either side carries the Zen Headbutt to take advantage of terrain. Because neither Zapdos nor Rotom Heat resist Psychic itself, and a Zen Headbutt in terrain could just wipe them off the field.
We do see a Tapu Lele Metagross lead, followed by a Rotom and a Landorus lead.
So Landorus Intimidate got a kick in here, indicative perhaps of its speed.
Yeah, faster than the Lele's Psychic Surge though. Although
Metagross also indicates first, but Metagross typically runs max speed, but with his 70 base speed.
Yeah.
So it could still be a regular Landorus. We're not entirely certain as of yet.
Yeah, it could just be a very bulky, slow Lele.
And a Metagross which has a lower base speed before its Mega Evolution.
Edison does feel a bit of heat from the Rotom Heat's overheat. So he actually chooses to stay in though, so maybe we should see a protect.
Or maybe he's confident that Zen Headbutt can just wipe the Rotom Heat off the field.
That is also possible, but he does risk the miss.
Rotom goes for the protect
oh,
here.
okay.
As we're about to see, the Landorus goes for the U-turn. Indicative, yes, it is the Choice Scarf Landorus. Gets his attack off first, especially
That's a lot of damage.
We did see from yesterday that Edison's Tapu Lele is also holding the Scarf.
So what is going to come in to perhaps take a Psychic is going to be the Metagross. I think it's a pretty good choice. The Rotom is protected, the Metagross will take.
As Lele goes for the Psychic
hit
into the Rotom Heat. As Metagross goes for the Zen Headbutt, also into the Rotom Heat. So JS makes an excellent call to protect his Rotom from the double target this turn.
Aye, and he actually managed to pivot in his Metagross in a rather favourable position. Lele can't really touch it.
That being said though, JS might still have to play a speed tie because now Edison could opt to double into his own Metagross. And the combination of the Psychic in terrain and if Edison wins the speed tie, lands a Stomping Tantrum, that could be it for JS's own Metagross.
I still think Edison has to be careful of the Rotom hit. The threat of going with the overheat is still there. And he doesn't want to lose his Mega so early in the match.
He could get rid of his opponent's Mega though. So it's interesting decision for Edison this turn, having blown his double target into a protect last.
Yeah, that's it though. The Lele is
no
Scarf,
switches, Edison staying in with the Tapu Lele. So he's going to get a Psychic off this turn. Is he going to go for the Rotom which can't protect further?
I mean, it could double protect, but it's a bit of a wasted momentum. And
Psychic
will
goes
see the Psychic
into, looks like the Rotom. How much damage are we going to do? Are we going to see a Berry? No Berry as the Zen Headbutt goes off. And that will be the Rotom removed from the field. Ooh, that's a big risk taken by Edison going for the Zen Headbutt when at that stage, I think Iron Head would have been enough.
Well,
it's times 4 resist, so
yes,
probably not.
No, but well, Lele does go down to an aforementioned Iron Head.
As we are actually in an entirely neutral position. Edison having lost his Scarfer though, and JS still has his.
Yes, and importantly, Landorus could still pack the Earthquake
to
threaten Edison's Metagross.
We do see Edison reduced his own Landorus, which we did see on stream yesterday, is the Ground Game Z variant.
Oof. So
it actually gives Edison a bit more of an advantage here. Because JS has to pick a lock, whereas Edison can protect both of his Pokemon.
Yes. And if he chooses to lock himself to Earthquake, he has to be mindful of Earthquaking his own partner.
Especially since he has no more Pokemon that are immune to the Earthquake on his own team, since Rotom Heat has gone down.
Yeah. So it is a big risk if he wants to lock himself to Earthquake. If his Metagross goes down, he's going to be Earthquaking his partner with no way of switching his moves.
That's assuming, of course, that Edison does go for the Metagross. It's notable that Edison does have the Ground Gem Z to remove Metagross in a single hit, whereas JS will not be able to KO his opponent's Metagross with just the Earthquake.
Importantly though, Edison's Landorus was intimidated since it came out first. So the Ground Gem may not be able to kill Metagross.
It is going to still take out Metagross.
Even through the -1?
Oh, definitely. Ground Gem Z is... The Tectonic Rage is an extremely strong attack.
Okay, but he doesn't want to risk it. Goes for the Among Us instead.
But leaves his Intimidate Metagross in. As JS goes for the Protect on his own Metagross.
Was trying to bait out the Ground Gem perhaps, and a U-turn. So not choosing to lock himself into Earthquake just quite yet, and he's going to reveal the last member of his team. Among Us, huh?
At this point, if JS has watched the broadcast from the previous day, he should know that Edison's Metagross does not carry the Ice Punch for the Landorus to immediately threaten the Landorus. That being said, of course, Zen Headbutt still hurts.
Yes.
And we do see Zen Headbutt come on. The Gastrodon does not resist Psychic. It's boosted by Terrain. That is more than half damage done to the Gastrodon, even through the Intimidate. Oof. Without the Intimidate, that might have been a KO.
I
just about
think it might be a damage roll, but
Gastrodon notably doesn't get a berry if it does carry it.
Not quite at the HP range yet, I think.
Almost, but not quite.
And Among Us, well, I think... Also with the Zen Headbutt, I think will die to a single Zen Headbutt in this terrain if it connects. So Edison will have to be a bit wary of that.
And Metagross now can redirect all attacks from GS's own Metagross if it does want to go for Stomping Tantrum.
Gastrodon
goes for the Protect, not wanting to go down to either a Grass Attack or even the Zen Headbutt. As Among Us also goes for the Protect, fearing Ice Punch perhaps.
Nah, Zen Headbutt. It is weak to Psychic, and the Psychic terrain.
But does he know whether GS carries Zen Headbutt? Oh, now he does. Now he does. So yeah, now we do see that both of these Metagross bucking the trend. I suppose there's not really much of a trend, given how Metagross has actually faded away. So this could be the new standard as far as Metagross players are concerned. Both players
truly manly way to play Metagross.
Both players taking advantage of their own Psychic terrain to fire off strong, same type attack boost bonus same type attack bonus boosted attacks.
And Landorus comes in to intimidate Edison's Metagross.
Yeah,
and
Metagross going down to half his original attack power.
I expect Edison to do the same, honestly. Switch out the Among Us to bring in Landorus, to bring his Metagross down to -2, yes.
And you called it.
I mean,
can GS take advantage of it?
it's a very straight play.
And can Landorus take... Well, I suppose after Intimidate, Landorus should be able to survive the Zen Headbutt,
Yes.
even for Edison, who only has gotten one Intimidate off. As once again, Edison wins the speed tie, fires off Zen Headbutt into the Landorus after 2 stages of reduced attack, still doing about half. And JS lands his own Zen Headbutt into the Landorus after 1 stage of reduced attack,
That's
doing a little bit more.
Well,
Edison, I think, spotting a slightly bulkier Landorus. But now Psychic Terrain is removed from the field, which means the Metagross are no longer able to KO the opposing Landorus.
and again,
Unless GS carries the Ice Punch.
yeah, and again to note, Edison's Landorus came out later, so JS Landorus is the one that's intimidated. Could be huge when it comes to damage. Mirror match, in these kind of mirror matches, one stage of attack can make a difference
But
between
Edison's
KO.
Metagross has been intimidated twice. So at this stage, he might want to get it off the field.
JS's Metagross as well though, so both players...
GS's
in similar
Metagross has
situation.
only been intimidated once. Because the first time it came out, it was still had this clear body.
And well,
But still no
for the
switch for
Gashadon.
Edison. So he's just gonna play it out with his Metagross, it looks like. As GS goes for the U-turn into the Landorus. As Metagross gets his own Stomping Tantrum, oh, that's a berry onto the Gastrodon, I think.
Well,
No berry.
no, not quite.
Or perhaps a type resist berry.
There are other item options for Gastrodon. Notably, it can carry the Z Crystal as well.
Perhaps. So perhaps it is the Rindo berry after all. As Edison still playing it out with his -2 Metagross. And JS' own Landorus has locked himself into U-turn. So it's exerting absolutely no pressure on Edison's Metagross this turn. Which means Metagross is almost guaranteed a KO on the Gastrodon this turn.
Actually, Edison can punish that because he knows the Metagross is going to switch in. If he can target that slot with a Groundium,
Yes,
might be
you're
curtains.
right.
Might be curtains.
Yeah, either has to switch or U-turn.
Yes, either way, Metagross will be coming in at the
Yes,
slot.
that slot is taking a Groundium Z this turn, if Edison's able to spot that out. But first we're going to see Edison's Metagross go for likely a Zen Headbutt into the Gastrodon. It's not going to take it this time, didn't have a berry to save it. It's going down this turn. Are we going to see the Tectonic Rage punish the U-turn? We do see the Tectonic Rage.
Oh.
Excellent play by Edison, spotting that no matter how GS played the turn out, Metagross was coming into that slot.
And he
He
had,
couldn't even U-turn himself, but that still switches the
he had
Pokemon out.
no way to get rid of the Landorus as well. I mean, Gastrodon does pack the super effective water type, but it was slower. Even if it survives Metagross's attack, it's not going to act before the Landorus.
Yes.
So the Metagross is curtains. Let's see if a minus.
Oh no,
Oh,
no, it's
okay.
Tectonic Rage. No. Metagross is down and GS staring at a game 1 loss here in the top 8 of the Singapore Open.
Yeah, down to his own Landorus, and he's in a very difficult position. If he picks Earthquake, yeah, sure, he can hit the Metagross, but then he can't touch the Landorus. And he picks Rock Slide, well, the Metagross eventually should land a hit.
He has to press Rock Slide. And then he needs...
A lot of flinches. Just to kill the Metagross.
Oh my goodness. He needs about 20 odd flinches.
He might run out of PP even before that.
I don't think he has enough PP to take out the Metagross.
Metagross.
Yeah, good play there. Stalling out the first Rock Slide. Or rather, watching to see what GS locks himself into. Just to be certain. It's going to be the Rock Slide, as he should. It's the only play that gives him a chance of winning. However unlikely.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening. Jess, I think, should be trying to think
This
about...
is the top card. You play your win conditions out.
Jess should be... actually, there is a reason to continue playing, you know.
Gives you time to think into
Yes,
the
gives you
matchup.
time to think of whether you still want to continue using the same strategy you did in game 1 and try to maybe readjust a bit of your predictions, or switch up your strategy entirely. Honestly, I think the...
Edison is just going to rotate Intimidates to make it even safer. Since the other thing is that Among Us can regenerate HP with every switch.
Yes. And
He's going to avoid the Rock Slide anyway.
Among Us can also just spore GS's Landorus for the easy win. We'll see the Iron Hit. So maybe not indicative of a Ice Punch.
We have seen the full moveset. It is Iron Hit and Stomping Tantrum.
Alright. So I guess at least GS knows that his Landorus is in a pretty okay position, not threatened by the Metagross 4 times super effective Ice
He still
Punch.
has to watch out for the Psychic Terrain boosted Zen Headbutt though.
Yes.
Since it looks like without Intimidate, it could be a one-hit KO on his own Landorus.
No
Which-
flinches.
And that should be it. Oh no, hangs on. As Among Us does flinch, but again, as long as something moves next turn on Edison's side, this game will be going to him.
Honestly, the pivotal turn came when Edison protected that U-turn. It just gave him an opening which JS couldn't avoid.
Yep.
And that just sealed the game. Up to that point, both players were honestly using the same strategy with the
Intimidating the opposing
intimidating,
Metagross and taking advantage of terrain.
Yeah. So it was close up to the point of the U-turn into protect.
As we do see, the Metagross actually does flinch, so we're going to get one more turn here.
Oh.
Landeros, I think, actually going to switch back to the Among Us.
How does JS
Yep,
adjust?
Landeros switching back to the Among Us. So as Among Us will enter with full HP thanks to Regenerator, and Landeros preserved for one last Intimidate. Still not missing a Rock Slide. He needs another flinch and Metagross to stay alive.
I think this is what you call playing with your foot.
And we do see Iron Head land here, and Edison will take game 1 of this top 8 series.
I honestly feel all the switches that Edison did up to this point was a bit unnecessary.
No, they were perfectly necessary. You play out a 100% win condition. Among Us can regenerate HP, and Landeros can Intimidate.
I know, but Among Us is not going to go down, and you just sit there and press. Once you hit Spore, you remove the threat of Rock Slide and just win the game from there.
It's still a more guaranteed position.
I would argue against
there's still a 30% flinch chance.
But Edison will take game 1, and JS will have to claw his way back in the second game in order to bring this to a tiebreaker.
The thing here is that turn 1 played out fairly well for JS. JS identified that the priority target on his side of the field was the Rotom Heat, and Edison was likely to go all the way in on it. And he was able to take advantage of that, but in the end, by turn 2, all he was able to get out of that turn 1 read was a trade. And a trade not entirely in his favor, I feel.
I feel he lost a very strong way to deal with Metagross. Sure, you have the Landeros Earthquake, but Choice Scarf Landeros is always a very iffy beast. You have to give very heavy consideration into what move you lock yourself into.
This is why you see him keep constantly going for the U-turn, because U-turn is so safe, but it can be punished in the right scenario.
And honestly, although U-turn is very good for momentum giving, pivoting Pokemon in and out, the damage output was not enough, I feel, in my opinion.
And the thing is, Edison also recognized that the way to reduce the value of U-turn is to ensure that your opponent only has one predictable target to U-turn to.
Yeah,
so he removed one Pokemon early in the Rotom Heat.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, he could predict exactly what was coming out every time JS went for his U-turn.
I honestly think JS needs to either preserve his Rotom or use his Rotom to get a kill on Metagross. And even if he goes down, his job is done. He needs to blow up the Metagross in order for it to fulfill its role.
It should also be noted that JS is not bringing his Tapu Lele, so he's relying on Edison to set up terrain for him in terms of boosting the power of Zen Headbutt. So again, we see both Scarfers face off. Again, JS just does not threaten a KO immediately.
At the very least, he does have an Earthquake play here because Rotom does levitate, and there is super effective damage on the Metagross. But yes, he does have to be worried about the Psychic coming out from the Tapu Lele, and perhaps the Metagross protecting.
The problem here is that if Landeros doesn't U-turn out, he's actually at risk of getting knocked out immediately by a Psychic in terrain. That's the danger. Landeros just isn't the bulkiest of beasts, and Lele under terrain is just an absolutely hard-hitting attacker.
What can he choose to switch into? A Metagross of his own, perhaps? But no switches coming out, so both players staying in.
That was what he went for last game, I believe.
Yes.
U-turning into the Metagross.
Yeah. But
so again, we see the lead come out here, and again, we see Rotom protect itself on JS side.
Hoping
does Landeros U-turn again?
The attack. Yeah.
It will go straight for the Earthquake, so he does get early damage off. Do we see Edison punish this Earthquake by attacking into the Landeros this time?
Did the Landeros move before the Lele?
Yes, it's a faster Scarfer. As Lele will go for the Psychic, which target is going for? He goes in the Rotom again. Where does Metagross attack go? It's the Zen Headbutt. Once again into the Rotom Heat. This time JS take advantage of the turn 1 protect.
Ooh. This time, yeah. I mean, there is pressure exerted from the Rotom, but I mean, JS did this very same play in game 1. And maybe Edison expected him to switch things up. Maybe not a protect.
Now Landeros forced to come in. Landeros and Among Us, I think, both forced to pull a double switch here.
Yeah, Landeros will come in to sponge that.
And we do see JS did not switch his Landeros. So he is going to be Earthquaking again this turn.
I mean, there was no reason to. You know, you're staring down.
Oh, and Edison choosing to sack his Tapu Lele. As Earthquake will take it out this turn. And Rotom Heat free to fire off an overheat into Edison's Landorus.
With the Intimidate though, Lele
Lele
hangs on.
And Lele will fire off a Psychic into the Landorus perhaps. Does landing on Landorus, is it going to be enough with a hit? No, Landorus hangs on. And Rotom lands a Will-O-Wisp onto the Landorus slot.
This is huge.
Onto the Lele slot.
Oh, okay.
And I think Edison takes that free switch. He
Not
doesn't
quite.
get it. He
Not
doesn't
quite.
get the free switch. Tapu Lele hangs on with a sliver of hit points.
It is,
And Among Us unable to come in for free.
yeah, it is confirmed to go down next turn, Lele, at that HP. Now, JS wants to think about whether he wants to save his Landorus or not. Being locked into Earthquake, I mean, the Lele is already a goner, so
But Edison's going to save his Lele.
bringing Among Us.
So
okay.
now Lele is unable to switch in at all unless he wants to sponge an attack. Because he will go down at the end of any switch.
JS doesn't switch out though, which I feel is quite surprising.
As Edison is just going to Rock Slide.
Oh. Oh, yeah, well. It's a bit of a shame that the...
Among Us sponges the Earthquake. As Landorus goes for the Rock Slide, a double connect here. Just loses his Landorus and Rotom potentially flinching as well, taking a super effective Rock Slide.
I think it's a bit of a waste that the Rotom hits Will-O-Wisp didn't go into the Metagross slot. Will-O-Wisping the
Now it
Landorus
does.
would be huge. Yeah.
But again, I'm not sure even after a Wisp, Tectonic Rage can bring... Well, I'm not sure that Metagross has survived a Tectonic Rage even after the burn.
Yes, and GS has lost his Intimidator, so he has no further way to decrease the attack of Edison.
To be fair, I suppose if he had overheated immediately, it would have changed the equation slightly, but at the same time, it would have lowered his own threat level.
GS, if he had overheated immediately, GS would then be in a very difficult position because his Rotom Heat will no longer exert much offensive pressure. Keeping the overheat alive is one way to pressure your opponent.
But in this scenario though, do you think it's enough on the Among Us? I suspect at this point after the chip from Earthquake, perhaps. But he still has to attack through a potential Rock Slide flinch.
Yes.
But now Landorus, I think, threatened by the Zen Hitbutt in terrain.
I mean, as you pointed out, perhaps the Landorus Tectonic Rage is still enough to destroy the Mega
Yeah,
Metagross.
I think JS is worried about that.
So he is still going for the Protect, not choosing to Mega Evolve as well.
So Among Us goes for the Rage Powder to try and pull a potential overheat,
I think we are seeing a Tectonic Rage here.
or even the Zen Hitbutt, as we do see the Tectonic Rage come out into the Protect. But he chooses not to Mega Evolve, so he takes actually a little bit more damage than he would have if he had Mega.
Yeah, but the important
It's
thing is...
inconsequential, probably, since it is true Protect. So we're talking at most double-digit damage difference, but every bit may count.
The important thing is that the Metagross will survive, and Edison has blown one of his strong ways to get rid of that. In fact, if you look at the rest of his team, now the tables have turned. JS's Metagross is in a pretty good position.
Well, I was about to question whether what item the Rotom Heat was, but he actually targets straight into the Among Us with the Thunderbolt. So he wasn't even going for the Landorus.
Or maybe
He wasn't even going for the overheat.
maybe he was targeting the Landorus, hoping that the Landorus would switch out.
But if that was the case though, then at least we do know for certain that that Rotom Heat is not carrying the goggles. Because his attack was drawn by safety goggles.
That is true.
Or was drawn by Rage Powder, but he could have targeted the Among Us anyway. So that's yet to be confirmed.
At this HP though, I think an overheat will destroy the Among Us. And once JS Mega evolves in Mega Metagross, which the Landorus is just not a threat. He's blown his Z move, it is burnt. Can't really touch the Metagross at this point. So honestly, GS needs to start using Mega Metagross to clean up members on Edison's team. And he does have the tools to do so. He still has one more Pokemon unrevealed at the back, whereas Edison has shown his full suite of Pokemon already.
So Among Us is going to stay in here and use the Rage Powder, trying to pull save the Metagross, save the Landorus from a Zen Hitbutt, which does connect here. We'll take out the Among Us, which means the attack from Rotom Heat will land on the Landorus.
Is it going to be an overheat? Perhaps a Wisp or a Thunderbolt?
A Wisp again? To 2 burn ones?
Oh, we do at least see a knockoff. Onto the Metagross.
Oh, it is super effective.
Yeah.
But Earthquake would have done more damage, so that's an interesting decision.
Doesn't kill the Landorus, but the burn eventually will take it out.
At this point, any attack from Metagross other than Storming Tantrum will take out the Landorus. And now I think Lele has to come back in for his last hurrah.
And honestly...
But at the same time, you give the Metagross terrain again.
I think you might want to do that for your own Metagross.
That's true.
And the important thing,
But he's going to bring the Metagross in first.
Now the Rotom Heat is at -2 special attack.
Now it's going to be a Metagross speed type, which might decide this. Ooh. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a Metagross speed type. Whichever Metagross gets the Stomping Tantrum off first is likely going to be in a very good position moving forward.
GS could protect his Metagross and with his Edison's Metagross. Or even maybe risk an overheat KO.
Overheat has more accuracy. And would KO.
Well,
no, we do still Storming Tantrum. Edison wins the speed tie. He gets the KO on JS's Metagross here. No, Metagross
not
hangs on
quite.
through the Stomping Tantrum. As Iron Head will remove the Landorus, and Rotom Heat should get the overheat off to remove Edison's Metagross. And the Burn Lele only has 1 turn left on the field.
Yeah, overheat does not miss this time. We'll see. -2, quite enough to KO their Metagross. And it's at -4 now. But hey, Lele with a sliver of health, it's not going to survive the next turn.
Literally, GS can just double protect.
Yeah. That's honestly a bit surprising though. I mean, Stomping Tantrum does has what's base 75.
Yep.
It's not a very strong, although it is a single target ground move.
Metagross does have really high base physical defense.
Yes.
So yeah, Edison likely to just forfeit here, or maybe just play the turn out.
Could have been a roll. There's Stomping Tantrum on the Metagross.
Definitely, 3 hit points.
Yes.
Yeah, Edison does forfeit here, recognizing that the game was ending next turn no matter what.
Yeah. I think GS did well this time because his Rotom actually did a lot of work. Well, you could argue that he lost maybe a bit of momentum, wisping the Amoonguss. Wisping the Lele instead of the Landorus switch in. But at the end of the day, Rotom managed to burn the Landorus, reduce a lot of damage coming out from the Metagross, from the Landorus' Tectonic Rage, and overheat was enough to pressure the Metagross and eventually KO it as well.
His sheer presence on the field and the fact that he has overheat is what is forcing Edison into these subpar turn 1 plays.
Yeah, and honestly, even after a -2, right, Rotom's usefulness on the battlefield is still there. The burn is very crucial against the likes of Landorus and especially Metagross.
He had to miss a Will-O-Wisp so far.
Yeah, actually, none of the players have missed any moves.
Oh, that was a Zen Headbutt miss.
Really? I can't recall that, but okay. Both players actually playing with fire. Like they're choosing to use moves that are very inaccurate. Auto very powerful, but inaccurate and could easily cost them the game.
But in GS is playing with fire in a sense that his turn 1 play is really dangerous because Edison knows the Landorus is A, choice Scarf, and B, cannot one hit knock out anything on his side of the field.
Yeah, both players.
Which means that it's actually easier for Edison to punish the Landorus slot. He can't protect. If he U-turn, something else gets punished.
Yes.
But so far he has chosen not to make that play because he's that afraid of the overheat.
Yeah, rightly so I feel. Based on game 2, even if you remove the overheat power with the special attack drop, Will-O-Wisp is more than enough.
There's Landorus and Tapu Lele hit the field for Edison this time.
So not showing his Metagross quite yet will be the Lele. Hopefully trying to dispatch the Rotom, I feel. Pretty good lead for Edison though. You pin down, you sort of threaten the KO on the Rotom with a Psychic Rock Slide, but at the same time you can't ignore Tectonic Rage on your own Metagross.
Yeah, GS has to make a tough choice on who he thinks is being targeted this
if
turn.
he makes the wrong call, he will be heavily punished as well. So there is a lot of pressure on him. Do you play safe? Do you switch out perhaps into to your Landorus of your own?
Or Tectonic Rage perhaps.
Yeah.
But
And
that also means you don't threaten any return damage this turn.
Yes. Perhaps a whiffs on the Landorus. Overheat should not be able to take out the Lele. And a -2 would give Edison an opening to bring in his own Metagross.
If Rotom moves to -2, then all of a sudden Lele is going to sit in front of it the entire time without any fear of the damage.
JS choosing to play safe, bringing in the Landorus, hoping to catch a Tectonic Rage into the Metagross.
Well, we don't see a switch for the Lele. Lele staying in as Rotom goes for the protect. So actually, JS again playing it safe on turn 1.
Yes.
As Rotom, we see the double Lele go for the Psychic into the Rotom Heat once again. And that is the Rock Slide coming out. So it doesn't make the mistake of the Tectonic Rage. But once again, JS smelling the double target into his Rotom and manages to protect it.
Yeah, well, not really a double target per se, but yes, he was prioritizing getting rid of the Rotom immediately so that he could bring in his own Metagross.
It's the same scenario though.
Yeah.
Except this time Metagross can come into the Rotom slot fairly safely.
Yeah. I mean, Edison's own Landorus is intimidated, so maybe
Might want to get out, yes.
Rotom will survive the combination of Psychic and Rock Slide.
Oh, I think Psychic does way too much on its own.
Then maybe you bring in Metagross in that slot?
Yeah, Metagross makes the most sense in that slot. But at the same time, Edison might want to retreat his Landorus now.
But I don't know, Edison's Lele is just free to fire off attack after attack. I doubt JS will lock his Landorus
here's
into
the Rotom
Earthquake.
coming out as the Metagross will hit the field once again. So hoping to catch the Rock Slide Psychic again.
Yes.
And we do see no switch from Edison.
We'll see the U-turn once again.
Unintimidated Landorus does a good chunk of damage to the not as bulky Tapu Lele.
If he's predicting the Rock Slide, I doubt he'll bring in the Rotom once again. So he'll have to reveal the last
It
member
is
of
going to
his
be the
team.
Gastrodon again.
Oof.
And it's going to reveal the Psychic Seed.
Finally we get the item.
Using his special defense. As the Psychic does come out, it does land on the Metagross, so it looks like Edison again playing it safe.
Yay.
As Rock Slide will come out, lands on both targets, but both resist, and Landorus has been intimidated.
Yeah. So now the ball is in GS's court. He might want to call a few switches and try to punish the switch-ins. Though he still has to be
Headbutt is a
worried.
fairly safe target into either, since the Among Us is coming in somewhere.
But maybe you want to take out the Lele though. It is a Scuffer and an important target.
At this point, the Lele is
Edison
not
C.
staying in. The Gastrodon has a special defense boost, and the Metagross resists Psychic.
Yes.
And we do see the switch out. So this is probably the Among Us? No, it's going to be the Metagross. So can the Gastrodon punish it? Or even the Metagross with a Stomping Tantrum. As Landorus choosing not to switch but to protect itself. As we do see the protect from JS Metagross does not Mega Evolve quite yet. And Gastrodon goes for the Ice Beam into the Landorus, revealing his first attack. So again, both Metagross staying in the non-Mega form, so JS can't switch in Landorus to intimidate Metagross.
Yeah, honestly, both players doing very well to resist the urge of pressing the Mega Evolution button just so that their Metagross can maintain their attack and the pressure.
And Edison finally switches out his intimidated Landorus.
Is it going to be the Lele? No, it's the Among
Us
Us that's
coming
coming.
back in. As Metagross is going to be switching out for JS.
Think doesn't want to risk the
Landorus
stopping
comes in, but
tantrum.
again, he's not getting any intimidate this turn.
Yeah.
Metagross still having the clear body, and Among Us not known for physical attacks.
That's
It
Edison.
could, of course. It does have a capable physical attack stat, but not quite in this format, shall we
That's
say.
Edison target down the Gastrodon though. Gastrodon has only boosted his special defense with
Yeah,
the Psychic Seed.
it can't handle Zen Headbutt. As we do see Zen Headbutt come out, it is the Gastrodon. How much are we going to see this do? That's a knockout. Oh, he hangs on, but does get the flinch. So Edison, judging by GS reaction, I think he went for the Earth Power this turn. Or the Fusion, but probably the Earth Power.
Regardless though, flinch on the Gastrodon is huge, and with that kind of speed, it's probably not going to survive this turn.
So you see the disadvantage of running the Seed as opposed to the Berry. It can't save you from physical attacks. Oof. At this point, Gastrodon would still survive a clear Smog, I presume.
There is an opening here though. If Edison chooses to focus down the Gastrodon, maybe GS could go for a protect.
But the Landorus can't protect this turn.
Yes.
So Edison has a fairly safe target into that slot. As he's gonna retreat the Among Us. Lele coming back in? No, Landorus to intimidate GS's Landorus.
Yeah, hoping to
catch the Earthquake. And the protect, as you pointed out, he might go for. Do we see Gastrodon go for protect this turn? It's gonna be the U-turn.
once again, okay, so not even trying to get rid
and
of the
Gastrodon
Metagross
again
at
not
this point.
protecting. So GS just trying, hoping that Edison doesn't target it this turn, and he gets to fire off the Earth Power.
I think the U-turn is fine because once Gastrodon goes down, he gets a free switch into his Landorus, which will now intimidate the Mega
As
Metagross.
Metagross goes for the Storming Tantrum, does not go into the flying of the ground slot, and gets the one-hit knockout. No chance of missing on the Gastrodon slot.
Yeah. GS now has a bit of momentum on his side. Bringing in the Landorus now is really good against two physical attackers. And he has to read what Pokemon is going to come in, and he maybe should try to blow things up with his Rotom. Although he has to be a bit
He has to be very
careful.
wary of wasting the overheat.
Yes, for sure.
At this point, Edison really wants the overheat to land on either the Landorus or the Tapu Lele.
Preferably, honestly, I think either target is fine because Metagross does pack the Stomping Tantrum, which threatens his
As
own
long as
Metagross.
it's not the Metagross or the Among Us.
Yeah,
He just wants that -2 to go off without his main threats taking damage.
but
And even possibly getting KO'd.
Edison is going to switch. The question is, what is he going to switch?
It's Metagross.
Metagross?
It's not going to be Among Us, is it? Yeah, it's going to be the Tapu Lele. So Edison not wanting any of his overheat, his prime overheat targets on the field. Removing the Metagross. Setting the terrain once again. As GS goes for the Earthquake.
Will catch the Lily on the switch in, but will not affect Edison's own
So
Landorus.
I think GS is probably going to try to wisp the Landorus. Which didn't protect.
Oh, that's a lot of damage.
Gets the
Lele will
knockout
go
without
down.
any intimidate.
Yeah.
I don't think Edison minds. As Among Us can now come in. And GS has to go through the flinch first and foremost.
That's not a lot of damage on the Rotom though. Will it get to act? No, it pulls
But
out
he
the
does
Will-O-Wisp.
attack, and he does connect the Will-O-Wisp.
Yeah.
Ooh, playing with fire indeed. That was
I mean, his name is
risky.
not Aaron Zhang. He hasn't missed a Will-O-Wisp so far.
Quite yet. Not quite yet. Edison has to choose who to bring in because the overheat still hasn't been burnt.
Yes.
But at the same time, Rotom Heat is in Zen Headbutt KO range.
But
But again,
GS
GS could just protect it.
GS has locked himself to Earthquake though. So, I mean, if you can get rid of the Rotom,
Yes, the Metagross at the back
it
is...
forces GS into a very unfavorable position.
So, but the obvious play here is to protect the Rotom.
Yes. So you try to punish the Landorus, but how do you do that? Zen Headbutt? Knock off?
Perhaps you switch Metagross out again, hoping to force the Rotom to protect. Or protect your Metagross, of course. Yeah, but GS not wanting to stay locked into the Earthquake. Switches the Metagross out. Is he going to attack with the Rotom Heat this turn? But Edison switching out his Landorus, not wanting to stay in burnt and intimidated. As the Mungus hits the field. Are we going to see a protect on Edison's Metagross? No, Rotom just goes for the protect. So Edison's Metagross going for the attack. Zen Headbutt into the Rotom Heat. And will not go through the protect.
Yeah, very straight play. I think it's fine that Edison withdrew his Landorus. Even though it's burnt, there's still utility once GS
now,
Mega evolves his Metagross.
I think the Rotom slot is going... Whatever is in the Rotom slot is going to go down. Because unless Zen Headbutt misses.
Well, that's not a very nice thing to wish upon Edison, but yeah. I mean, Landorus Intimidate at this point,
I don't think it will save it from the Zen Headbutt. It's taken quite a bit of damage. Though maybe I will be proven wrong. We'll see. Yeah, Rotom switching into the Landorus. But again, the priority for JS is to Zen Headbutt into that slot. I don't think it can survive, even at -1. With the terrain.
Maybe we'll see a miss though.
We're about to find out.
Yeah.
And first things first, whose Metagross is going to win this speed tie?
I mean, it shouldn't matter so much for Edison because he has Amogus, so I do expect to see Rage Powder support come out this turn.
I don't think there's a point to Rage Powder this turn.
Okay, and
it's going to Storming Tantrum into the Metagross. It's not going to KO based on what we saw in game 1.
Yeah,
I'm not even 2-8 KO at this point.
Intimidate.
As Zen Headbutt goes into the Among Us in the terrain, that's going to be a knockout. I think Edison was hoping for a miss here.
A bit strange though. I mean, you pointed out that whatever is coming into the Rotom slot is going to take a beating from the Zen Headbutt, but he chose to target down the Metagross instead. Which, even based off the damage, even if there wasn't an Intimidate coming in, I don't think would be enough to take out the Metagross as well. So Stomping Tantrum's base power really letting Edison down.
Yeah, I'm not even sure one more Stomping will do the job. He does still have Tectonic Rage, burnt though it is.
Yeah. GS has a switching
but
to
every
play
other
around
every
with.
other thing on GS side of the field is immune to the ground.
Yes. And Scarf Earthquake, anyone?
Rotom going to return here. Trying to force the double protect from Edison, I feel. He does get one. Are we going to see the second? I do believe we'll see the second as well. No, Zen Headbutt coming out into the Landorus. I think that's going to be enough to knock it out. Oh, no, after the Intimidate.
Close.
As you do see the knockoff come out from Landorus, and we want to review what the Rotom has. It's the Wiki Berry.
Huh. Didn't get an opportunity to use it. Will never get the opportunity to use it in this round. But there is still pressure on the Metagross with the overheat. And GS actually does have Landorus locked in at the back as well. So Edison's Metagross is quite pinned. It can't even switch out to reset its attack stat.
So Metagross goes for the protect here. I don't feel this is the best play. Unless he goes for a stomping. Oh, he must go for double protect, but that's not enough to KO with burn, I feel.
Goes for a
he does go for Stomping Tantrum here. Landorus goes for the Rock Slide. It's still gonna be at least one more turn of burn. Take out the Landorus.
I think that double protect was fine. Now GS can sort of play a bit of mind game.
But now Edison will can just hammer the Rotom slot.
Yeah,
and force GS to target into his Metagross, I feel.
He could. Although I do think Landorus on his own at the back is a win condition against Metagross. Edison's own Landorus is going to die very soon to burn, and then it's going to be a single target.
Metagross, he needs this to KO the Metagross. If he survives, I think this game is done. Yup, he does hang on once again. And that should be the game for Edison here.
Iron Head will pick up the kill on Landorus. And maybe an overheat will clean up the game here.
Stomping Tantrum just not coming through for Edison this
not
set.
wanting to miss the attack, goes for the Thunderbolt.
Yeah, as pointed out, he does have Earthquake at the back. No matter what, just get some damage on to guarantee the KO with Earthquake once Landorus comes in. And that's the set for JS. Moving on, still undefeated to the top 4.
Coming out ahead in the mirror match as well. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure most players don't enjoy playing a mirror match because
finally he wins this speed tie. Doesn't even get the KO after the intimidates. As Stomping Tantrum will clean this up. And not yet. As Thunderbolt will but a flinch. So Landorus might have to save the day after all.
Nah, Metagross only has a single target attack. Can only choose one. So
he doesn't miss that headbutt still. Gets the KO. Even 3 HP, he just wants to go out with a bang. As we do see Stomping Tantrum, we'll clean this up for JS, who moves on to the top 4.
I wouldn't really call it a very clean set of games, but JS played quite well. Edison did too. There were a lot of intimidates throwing around, and definitely both players tried to preserve their attack stat of their Metagross as much as possible. We've seen them not Mega Evolve their Metagross many times over the course of these games.
It's hard to say what Edison could have done, since the 4 he brought I feel were the best 4. Couldn't really bring Tyranitar into the opponent Metagross and Gastrodon. Even though Tyranitar would have done better against Rotom Heat.
I think
Tyranitar suffers against Landorus, Metagross and Gastrodon.
I think a combination of Tyranitar Among Us might be okay, because
not when the Metagross has an Headbutt though.
Yeah, and again his Z Crystal is on the Landorus, so he can't really threaten with. I mean, maybe his Tyranitar has the Darkium, maybe it's a Mega. We won't really know.
Yeah, we haven't seen it on stream.
Yeah, but choosing to play the Mirror Match I think is quite bold.
The fact that he didn't bring Tyranitar at all makes me think that it is the Mega, because I think Mega Tyranitar could have been an alternative mode, as you pointed out, protected by the Among Us.
Yes.
Because the only thing that really threatens the Among Us immediately is the Metagross with Zen Headbutt in terrain. But if you do that, then you open your Metagross to the Crunch in return, which is not the best of plays for the Metagross player.
Or he could set up with a Dragon Dance and just
and then threaten
the
with the
from
Crunch
there.
next turn, yes.
Yeah, but I think he identified that his if it was the Dragon Dance setup, it wasn't going to be very effective, because both players actually pivoted Landorus around in and out very frequently. So there was a lot of intimidates going around. At one point I think Mega Metagross was at -2. So it's difficult for Tyranitar, I guess, to set up. And we also have seen that intimidates come through quite a lot for both players. I think JS's team survived, Metagross survived with 3 HP the first time, then subsequently survived with 2 HP. I mean, you could chalk it down to Stomping Tantrum's
low base power.
Yeah, inadequate base power. I think that's one of the arguments against Snorlax running high horsepower instead of the Stomping Tantrum. High horsepower does have an extra 15 base, I believe, over the Stomping Tantrum. So it's interesting to see both players play that mirror match though, and the variants that they chose to bring.
Rotom Heat.
Yeah.
There was no ready answer for Rotom Heat on Edison's side of the field.
I mean, there was. I feel the Tapu Lele was a pretty decent check to the Rotom. Rotom can't really blow it out with overheat. Even if it does get the KO, it's going to be neutered and it's going to switch out and it's easily exploitable. But Lele
suffers against everything else.
Yes.
Takes more than half from unintimidated Earthquake. It's one-shotted by Iron Head. So it's a tough world.
I don't know. I just what's in my mind now is the game 1 play where the protect into U-turn was pretty pivotal for Edison to get the game. JS, I think, I mean, he was still throwing U-turns from his Landorus even after that, so he was pretty confident. But that kind of mistake or that kind of opening didn't happen again the previous 2 games. And honestly, the Rotom I think was enough to push JS to a win. I'm not sure the Among Us.
The burns on the Landorus in
Among Us, I guess, was an okay pick. But
yeah, but it was forever shut down by Zen Headbutt.
Yes.
There's not much you can Rage Powder away when you get taken out by the single first hit that comes in.
Not only that, it's also pinned down by the Rotom's overheat as well.
No, that doesn't KO though.
Well, I mean, they were from full HP, yeah, but there was a situation where Rotom was, I think, chipped down to about 60%, 65%. At that point, I think an overheat will KO, barring, of course, an Okaberry. I don't think we've seen the item on Among Us
because
as well.
he kept getting knocked out in a single hit. So
yeah.
Moving on, congrats to JS, moving on to top 4. Continuing his run, he's once again progressing the top card of a major tournament. Playing against the winner of Lo Wai Ying and Wilson Fung, which will be streaming shortly, but before that, we will go to interview with our unfortunate loser of that top 8 set, Edison Tam, so stay tuned. And I'm joined now by the top 8 finisher, quarterfinalist Edison Tam, who has unfortunately fallen in 3 games to JS Dale, who moves on. But so first and foremost, congratulations, Edison.
Thank you, Matthew.
But you did take the first game fairly well, I'd say. You did put yourself in a position that he had forced to U-turn, and you were able to take advantage of the U-turn.
Yes.
So I think in game 1, you saw that you were able to take advantage of the fact that the Landorus was scarfed.
Yes.
And you were able to play around it because he couldn't really upgrade that safely. Then when he rock slided a U-turn, you could take advantage of him doing less damage. But then I think it's fair to say that you just could not get rid of Rotom Heat fast enough in all your games.
Yeah. I didn't expect him to protect in the first all 3 rounds of the
turn 1, yeah.
Turn 1. So I was hoping to take out Rotom as fast as I can, and then there was not much threat to Metagross left. But I guess I was wrong. He was protecting the whole 3 rounds.
Yep. Yeah, because I think he also I think both of you knew that the Rotom Heat was just going to be a problem for your team.
Yeah.
So I think you also saw you bring the same 4 off all 3 games. So do you think that at the end of the day, you still had to bring Among Us even though the Zen Headbutt threat was there?
My initial expect of bringing Among Us is that I know he'll be bringing his... forgot what's the water
Gastrodon?
Yeah, Gastrodon for the all 3 rounds as well, which I predicted correctly, but it ended up I do not need it at all, because if I do not bring Among Us, then the Gastrodon will actually be a threat to my Metagross as well. Before the top 8, I actually brought Zapdos, but I found out his Metagross actually slower than mine. So I found out I don't need a Tailwind anymore, and Zapdos can't actually...
So it wasn't a speed tie at all?
It wasn't a speed tie. I do notice that my Metagross will always be faster than his Metagross, so I think it's not a speed tie at all.
Yeah, so, and then unfortunately I think we saw Stomping Tantrum just couldn't do the job.
Yeah, I was hoping for that to happen.
I think in both games it was very crucial. If the Metagross had gone down in those scenarios,
yes,
especially in game 2, if the Metagross had gone down, I think that was probably your game to win.
Game 3 as well, actually, because I was hoping that
you forced the Landorus back in.
Not just the Landorus back in, but the single target Rock Slide will actually take down the
Rotom Heat at that point.
Heat as well.
Oh, because you had knocked off the berry already.
Yes, that's correct. But it didn't happen, and
Stomping Tantrum
he survived, and he took down my
Metagross.
Landorus
yeah,
before he can do anything. So that's kind of bad it happened that way.
Yeah, unfortunately, that you had to make those plays. That was probably your best set of plays in that scenario.
There is alternative play, but these are what ifs. We'll never know what's happening in the future, and he might play differently in there. So in long term, well, too bad for me for this season.
Unfortunately, it is, but still top 8 finish at the Open. It's a very good finish. Very well played set. It was very close down to the wire.
Thank you.
But once again, this is our quarterfinalist, falls in top 8. Edison Tam, hope to see you in future tournaments. You're doing well as well.
I'll see you soon then.
And we will move on to the next stream match in the top 8, played between Wilson Fung and Lo Wai Ying. So stay tuned.
Bye.